Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with Invisalign. So first off, why did I do it? I did it because I was incredibly insecure about my teeth. All the way up from when I was a kid, maybe 7, 8, 9 years old, till I was 24 years old, middle school, high school, college, and into early adulthood, I really just did not feel good about my teeth. They were crooked. I was not confident smiling, whether it was in person or in pictures. I would usually just use my lips and smile like this. And I really felt bad about my teeth and my smile in general, and so I really sought out to fix that with Invisalign. So when you first go to the orthodontist and you finish your appointment and they tell you to come back in a couple months to pick up your trays, they're going to give you a box that looks like this. Pull it out. And each of the trays is going to look like this. And so you're going to have a bunch of these that eventually, look better and better. In addition to this, they gave me this pretty cool box here. Open it up like this, and the tray holder was right here. These are cleaning crystals to clean out the trays. So yeah, that's what they give you. And when it comes to cleaning out your trays, you're going to have to buy some retainer bright or another solution on the market. I personally bought a couple packs of these. There's a bunch in here, 96 tablets. They're only like $15 a box, but it's another expense to consider. So what are the pros of using Invisalign? Well, first off, hopefully your teeth are going to be much straighter than they were, before you got them. I was 24 years old when I first started using Invisalign, and so at that point in my life, I did not want braces. I did not want a mouthful of metal walking around day to day. When I was using Invisalign, a lot of the times, people had no idea I even had them in. And another pro is that if you're going to spend this much money on your teeth, you really want to make sure you get the job done right the first time, as opposed to going back to the same company, going to a competitor, taking several more months or several more years to get it done. I know with some competitors on the market that market themselves as being a much cheaper option, I actually was turned away by that fact. I feel like they just send you some trays out in the mail and you wear them and then you're done. But with my specific situation, I had to meet with the orthodontist between like 5 and 10 times throughout the year. To make sure everything was going according to plan, to make adjustments. I got a much more consultative approach. I feel like you pay for what you get. And if you're going to make this kind of an investment to change the way your teeth look for the rest of your life, you might as well go all in, treat yourself like a Ferrari, and really, spend the extra money to make sure it gets done the way it should get done. What are the cons of using Invisalign? Well, there's a bunch. First off, you're going to have to really prepare yourself to possibly make some lifestyle changes. The goal with Invisalign is to have them in for as close to 24 hours as possible. I know they recommended that I have them in for about 22 hours a day. Now, if you're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that gives you about 30 to 45 minutes to eat, to go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, to floss, to clear out, to wash out these aligners and put them back in. Now, that's going to be a big shift if you're used to, eating 2-3 hour dinners. You're going to have to excuse yourself like halfway through or a third of the way through and make sure it gets done so that you have these aligners in for as long as possible during the day. Another con is that you cannot eat anything besides, or you cannot eat anything, period, and you can't drink anything pretty much besides like room temperature water and ice cold water. You can't have any hot liquids in your mouth. This is plastic and you don't want hot liquids in there. So snacking is pretty much out of the picture. I mean, if there's something really tempting around, like some cake or some cookies or something, maybe you can, take them out, go brush your teeth and do that whole routine, put them back in like 10 minutes. But snacking for the most part is going to be out of the picture. You have to clean these Invisalign retainers out, aligners out every single day, every time you use them. So you're not going to be used to that process probably for like 30 to 60 days. It's going to be like a new habit, like any other habit that you create in your life. You're going to have to, implement it consistently every single day until it becomes a routine. But when it does become a routine, you're going to feel much better about yourself for staying disciplined and making sure everything gets done. If you're going out on dates, you're going to have to excuse yourself at the beginning. I know personally I took my Invisalign out for the most part before I even, sat down at the bar. And then when you finish, you have to go back to the bathroom and do that whole process, brush your teeth, floss, wash the aligners out and put them back in. And so you really have to be prepared to do all that work. So it's definitely going to be an adjustment. So some more cons are that these trays, these aligners can crack and break pretty easily. So you got to be very careful when you're taking them out. I know when I first got Invisalign, it cracked, it ripped. And so I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I had to reach out to my orthodontist, and luckily she said I could move on to the next tray and just skip that one. But if that wasn't the case, I would have had to wait several days or a week for the new trays to come in the mail. I would have had to go drive over to the office, pick them up, and it would have delayed my whole process even longer. So when you're taking these trays out, definitely be careful. Definitely start with the molars in the back and slowly work your way to the front to take them off. Another con is that you have to make several visits to the orthodontist to make sure the plan is going accordingly, to make sure you're on track and nothing's shifting the way it shouldn't be. So that's definitely a time commitment. You might have to take some time off of work if the orthodontist is not available on like a Saturday. Definitely be prepared for that. You should also be prepared for a little bit of a painful, tight feeling for the first couple of days for each tray. I personally had to work my way through about 22 trays, and so each tray is going to be on for about 14 days. They say 10 to 14 days, but if you want the best results, you should probably leave them in for 14 days. And so for the first 2 or 3 days when you put in that new tray, your teeth are not used to that feeling of coming together in that way. And so it's definitely going to be a pretty it's not going to be incredibly painful, but it's going to be a very tight feeling on your teeth. Another con is that you might get some attachments in your mouth. And so attachments are little pieces of like enamel, little pieces of like a tooth. Like, I'm not really sure what the material is, but they stick them to your teeth, and it's supposed to help the aligners, the trays, stick to your teeth better, give them more leverage to move your teeth around. And I had like 15 or 20 of them. I could definitely notice when they were on, and it's just another, little thing to consider. Here's a few of my before and after pictures. What's the price going to be? Well, honestly, it's going to vary depending on your situation, depending on how long it takes, how crooked your teeth are. But me personally, I'll tell you that I spent in the range of $5,000 and $6,000. Now that's a lot of money, and you definitely want to make a wise decision here, whether you want to go with Invisalign or another solution on the market. But definitely be prepared to shell out a decent amount of money. So what's the process? As I mentioned earlier, with every single person, it's going to be a different approach. Your specific situation might take 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, or maybe multiple years, depending on how bad your teeth are. But you're going to have to make multiple visits to the orthodontist. You might have some attachments get put in your teeth. They're going to take some molds of your teeth when you first start. They're going to send them into Invisalign. You're going to have to wait probably like a month or two after that to first get started. You come in and they're going to give you, maybe 5 or 6 trays to get started with. And that's going to last you a couple months. So each tray is going to take 14 days. They might tell you, 10 to 14 days, but really, as I said earlier, you're going to want to leave them in for 14 days to get the best result. So you're going to follow that process until they tell you you're done. When you first get started, they should give you a solid idea of how long it's going to take. And yeah, that's the whole process. Personally, I was thinking about getting Invisalign for several years. Really, I really wanted my teeth to be straight since I was a young kid, and so I was trying to get mentally prepared to get Invisalign for quite a while before I actually committed to paying and going through with the process. So I really was very excited throughout the process of having Invisalign on. I was like, yes, finally my teeth are getting straighter. Finally it's happening. But about 8 or 9 months into the process, I was just like tired of it. I just wanted to be done. You can feel these Invisalign retainer aligners in your mouth every second of every day. Like, you can feel them all the time, and so you really got to be conscious of that fact. But I knew that the process was going to be over within a couple months, so I stuck with it till the end. I knew the pleasure at the end of the tunnel was going to be much better than the pain I was experiencing now, and so I stuck with it and got to the end, and I'm very happy that I finished. When I finished Invisalign, they gave me a set of retainers that I had to wear for 12 hours a day. Thankfully, after a couple months, that went down to 8 hours a day, and so I only wear my retainer when I'm sleeping now. I gotta wear it every single night, and yeah, I definitely should probably get a spare in case I lose my current case. But you definitely got to be prepared to wear this retainer every night for the rest of your life, because if you don't, your teeth are eventually just going to go back to that crooked state that they were in. And so that's definitely something to consider when you get into this.